In Acts chapter 8, verses 26 through 40, and we obviously don't have time to read it, but there's this really amazing story, I guess you could say, of stepping out in faith. See, the story is Philip going and evangelizing to the Ethiopian eunuch. Philip was in Samaria, where there was great revival going on, and the Lord told Philip to go to Jerusalem, 60 miles away from where he was, and take a desert road to Gaza. Why can't Philip just travel straight from Samaria to Gaza to do whatever it is that God wants him to do? Well, it's because God had a divine appointment set up for him. So Philip goes to Jerusalem to travel this road to Gaza. This Ethiopian eunuch, who was very high up in the Ethiopian Empire, he was the treasurer for Candace. He goes to Jerusalem and he goes to worship. And while he's there, he picks himself up a Bible. Now, you can't just run down to Bibles Plus or name a Christian bookstore and pick up a Bible in this time. It has to be written by a scribe on a scroll. So obviously this shows the wealth. And as the Ethiopian eunuch is traveling down this deserted road between Jerusalem and Gaza, he's reading the scroll and he's reading Isaiah. And I can just imagine it and picture it, that Philip running up beside him like, "Hey, what are you reading?" He's finally got I could, because why do you want me to go to Jerusalem to take this trip to Gaza? Why can't I just go from Samaria? But Philip is following in faith, right? And he has this encounter. He runs up to this Ethiopian eunuch in the chariot and he explains the gospels to him from that point. And the Ethiopian believes anymore. He says, "I believe that Jesus Christ is the Messiah. I believe in Jesus Christ," and is baptized right there. What can we take away from this? First of all, God's not going to give us the plan all at once. He's going to tell you to do something and you have to step out in faith and do it. He's not going to lay it all out, because we tend to want to do those things. We tend to be like, well, I'll go do this, but what's the next step? And then what's the step after that? No. You have to be able to step out in faith. Philip stepped out in faith, did what God commanded him to do, went to Jerusalem, went and talked to this eunuch, and the eunuch was saved. And if you know the Coptic Christians in Egypt, they actually say in their history that this Ethiopian was the reason that a church was started in Egypt, and it still exists today. It's highly persecuted, but that is where the Coptic Christians in Egypt came from. So God had this divine appointment for Philip to go meet this eunuch, and then it just exploded and blew up from there. Now imagine what God sets up in your life. We have to step out in faith. We don't know where he's going to take us all of the time. When he tells us to do something, we need to do it. He sets up divine appointments, just like this one, all of the time with us. We might be shy, we might be nervous, whatever it is, but when God speaks, do it. You never know what can happen. You never know who can be affected just by stepping out in that faith, doing what God tells you to do, and talking to that one person. Do everything in faith, especially when God tells you to.